Door-to-door canvassing, direct sales. It's cold, right? We show up. People don't know who we are. It's completely unannounced. Therefore, it is cold, just like cold calling, meaning you're calling someone for the very first time, or a direct outreach. Well, unfortunately, this cold approach is not ideal. Now, I know, it must be done, but I'm going to be sharing with you this strategy to use to make it warm, which I'll explain what that means here in a second. But first, cold door knocking, when we show up, in the mind of our customer says, "Who the heck are you? I haven't seen you." And the problem with cold approaches all the time, and again, I know that they need to be in place for a short period of time, it gets in our head, especially newer salespeople and even seasoned salespeople. We get this mindset where all of the negativity that's been told to us, we start to internalize, and it kills our confidence. And it's one of the main reasons, by the way, owners and managers, listen up. This is one of the main reasons that sales reps quit, because in their head, all of this negative nonsense gets internalized. And then there's this, I am a sleazy door-to-door salesperson, and confidence is destroyed. People get beat down over and over again. So it is our job as leaders to give our team the right steps, the right path forward to rewriting the story in the sales rep's mind. And sales reps that are tuning in, you can do this on your own. I'll be sharing this here in just a second. So when we make this shift from cold door knocking, meaning no one knows who we are, it's the first time in the neighborhood, to warm door knocking, which means people have seen us before and there's familiarity, great things happen. And for owners and managers, increased retention, higher performance, and people finding more meaning and more enjoyment out of their career choice. So how do we do this? Well, that is what we are going to cover in today's video. First, I want to say welcome back. My name is Adam Bensman, the roof strategist. In the roofing industry, completely changed my life. I've tried to leave 4 times. I keep getting drawn back in, and I love it. And the reason is this industry provides opportunities for everyone, no matter what walk of life, your background, your education, where you came from, does not matter. It truly is a land of opportunity as long as you are willing to apply yourself, lean into the discomfort, grow, and do the work. And sometimes it's not easy, but we can make it easier by following the right steps. So I just want to say I'm glad to have you here, because my mission is to help you smash your income goal and give every customer an amazing experience. And if you like this video and you want more videos like it, head on over to theroofstrategist.com right now and download a free copy of my Pitch Like a Pro Roofing Sales Training Video Library. It's totally free. Enter your name and email. You're going to be joined by thousands of people in good company who've downloaded this video library right here. And you can jump into the canvassing training, because there's a whole lot more on door-to-door in there, along with the pitching section as well. All right, now let's get back to today's video. By the way, there's a link in the description should you be interested, or you can go to theroofstrategist.com. So cold versus warm. Again, before I delete this and start writing, cold, just so we're on the same page, means we're showing up for the first time, people don't know who we are. And big mistakes you've probably seen me talk about is, especially new people, it's the grass is greener mindset. Knock this neighborhood, no one was home, didn't get any bites. But knock this neighborhood, knock this neighborhood, knock this neighborhood. And then what are you doing? Each and every time you're cold, no one knows who you are. And then add insult to injury, once you do get some traction and you keep this up, you're spreading all over the place, 5 visits to each house, best case scenario, you're driving 5 times here, 5 times there, 5 times over this way, and then all of a sudden you're spending hours and hours a day in windshield time. Done it, believe me, not fun. Instead, what we want to do is focus on what I call warm docking. So warm door knocking. So we want to go from cold to warm as fast as possible. And what's interesting, I've talked about this before, but I'm talking about it again. There's a gentleman who wrote a book, his name's Jack Schaefer. The book was called The Like Switch. And then he also wrote another book called The Truth Detector. Former FBI agent, and this, full credit to him, he calls it the friendship formula. All right, so this is not mine. This is Jack Schaefer, author of The Like Switch and author of The Truth Detector. So by the way, I read this after I developed the process I'm going to be teaching. And by the way, this exact process is literally the backbone foundation of my all-in-one sales training, sales strategy, and sales system that's being used by thousands as we speak for Storm & Retail. It's a complete system, knock to close, and will get you on this transition as quick as possible. But I want to lay the foundation. So the friendship formula, context. Jack Schaefer was an FBI agent and was tasked with spotting foreign spies in the U.S. So guys from X country in the U.S. and sending intel back. And his job was to befriend them and get them to flip and start giving us intel. So my reason I'm sharing that is context-wise, with what I'm about to lay out. When this begins to work for you, if it can work for converting a foreign spy, I'm pretty sure it'll do pretty well in door-to-door sales. And in fact, we know it has because of the results. So number one is frequency, meaning how many times you see someone. Number two is duration. Number three, excuse me, let me backtrack. I put these in the wrong order. Proximity. My bad. Duration. And then the fourth one is intensity. Now I want to lay out what this means. So Jack Schaefer, his job, spot foreign spies, right? Get them to flip, start spying on their own home country. He would never have his first interaction with someone sitting down, go on a walk. He walked to a coffee shop. And he started to do this by breaking down, by stopping by multiple times. Maybe it was at the spy's place of business or where they hang out. He would be close to them so they'd see him in the corner of their eye. He'd start spending more and more time there. And then the intensity is the emotional connection, the emotional response that he would elicit from the target in this case. Now, how do we apply this to roofing sales? Frequency. This is how many times you're in the neighborhood. If people see you once, are they going to eagerly buy from you? The answer is no. And by the way, same thing like if you're running ads on Facebook or Google or anything like that for leads, homeowners aren't going to be like, a lead for a new roofing company? I can't wait to buy from you. What do they always say? I see you everywhere. We've seen your ads. We've seen your trucks. So frequency is how often you're in the neighborhood. Proximity, how close you are to that home. You know how it's easier to sign the neighbor than it is from 7 blocks away? Closer, the better. Duration, for how long? If you are one and done in a neighborhood, oops, saw you once, low frequency, low proximity for a low period of time, versus being in that same neighborhood over and over again for long periods of time. Hey, I saw your truck in the neighborhood all day. I saw your crew here all day. You've been in the neighborhood for weeks. You've done multiple jobs. And the intensity is the level in which in this case, the customer or the neighborhood has had some sort of emotional response. Okay, so this friendship formula, which I've taught before, again, Jack Schaefer, author of The Like Swish and Truth Detector, I read this and I'm like, this is why this process works. I didn't understand the psychology behind it as much. And now this was like, boom, this is why. So let's talk about this. We've done our cold door knocking. People ask, who the heck are you? And what we want to do instead is warm door knocking. And here's what I mean by that. And again, I'm calling out owners and managers here. When we make this shift, we now have a service-focused reason for our visit in the neighborhood. We have our reps that enjoy what they do. By the way, this is the plan that most of the reps who I've interviewed on the channel who've been wicked successful, like Bill Sansom, who did $2.2 million in his first year at age 60. Okay, coincidentally, 60 or 63 out of 73 homes in a single subdivision, or guys like Marshall who flipped to this system. He called it breathing familiarity, and he ended up doing $500,000 out of one neighborhood in 6 weeks from switching to this. 6 weeks with 2-week vacation. So when we follow this system, and again, this system is inside my program, it changes not only the mindset of the rep, it increases retention, increases performance, and this is when people reach out and say they're actually having fun with it. So what do we want to do? Again, the fundamentals is we want to stay in the same neighborhood. Stay in the hood. I'm just going to write hood so I can write less. So we want to stay in that same neighborhood over and over again. And if you don't get traction, that's okay. We can come back another time. So we're going to batch our time in the neighborhood. Okay. Then we're going to leverage, and I'll highlight this in a second, but I'm laying the groundwork. Leverage key touch points. Okay, what do I mean by key touch points? These are triggers that allow us to provide incredible service to the customer. That's a touch point while converting that service into a sales opportunity. All right, so how does this work? We want to, again, stay in the neighborhood and leverage those key touch points. Last piece of groundwork. The main thing is to create strong habits. Now, I've studied habits and habit-forming behavior And the idea is that we have a trigger that says we should do this. Oftentimes, triggers for us in our daily life can be unhealthy. For folks who might enjoy a beer after work, oftentimes the ritual of pouring yourself a cocktail or grabbing a drink is, you hear it, you got the foam, and there's like this ritual that indicates I'm done with work or I'm done with the day. This is how I unwind and relax. So that trigger is done with work. The habit is going for a beverage, right? Not a great habit to have. Or any other behavior, whether it's video games or any other habits, we have a trigger, meaning an instant that says boom, and then this happens. So our mission is to say, hey, we're human, this is how we go. How do I use this to my advantage? So the trigger of the strong habits, okay, focused by triggers, are those key stages. The first key stage is when we sign a new customer, okay, meaning, okay, I signed a new customer, I got ink, whether it's a contingency or a contract. Then the job gets scheduled. This is a trigger, right? Job is scheduled. Then we have install day. And then we have when it's done, and then when it's paid in full, okay? And then I'm gonna add in one more. This is less of a trigger, but this is a new neighborhood. This is when we're first in the neighborhood or opening up a new neighborhood. So outside of this, these are the 5 triggers. So we know to hold the team accountable, or yourself, when you sign a new customer, do this, this, and this. Okay? Job schedule, do this, this, and this. Install day, do this, this, and this. Okay? When the job's done, meaning when we're invoicing the homeowner or the insurance company, do this, this, and this, and then when it's paid in full, we're back in the neighborhood. So here's what this allows us to do. This allows us, and again, if you are using my all-in-one sales training, sales strategy, and sales system, I provide, and there's a link in the description, by the way. I'm just going to put this out there. If you are interested and you want to chat about this, there's our number, 303-222-7133. So that phone number you can call or text or reach our office. We can answer your questions. But this flow, we have the habit, right? The habit meaning the trigger, which then indicates we need to follow these steps. And then we provide, by the way, in there, the marketing battle pack, what to use when, what to say, the emails to send, the referral program, when to get the insurance agent's name. All those details are baked in here, and it becomes a full system. But we're not talking about that now. We're talking about warm door knocking. So what happens when I mention that kind of rewiring of your mind, you end up being able to engage in these steps from a service-based approach, warm. So the only time that we're doing cold door knocking is when we're brand new in a neighborhood, and only up until the point where we begin getting inspections. Then we can start referencing, who we talk to. And by the way, I go in great detail in one of the programs in that package called the canvassing strategy, where I tell you what to say. The sales strategy tells you what to do and gives you all of it. And the closing strategy will teach you how to close them. But when we're brand new in a neighborhood, this is the only time it should be cold. The first initial time until we start talking to someone. Then we're going to shift to a warm approach for these. So again, we have a service-based approach. The reason I'm stopping by, Peggy, just 2 doors down, just chose us to do her roof. And the reason I'm here is blank. Then when the job's scheduled, hey, the reason I'm stopping by, Peggy's roof's getting installed next week. Hey, install day. Hey, the reason I'm stopping by, Peggy's roof, we're actually installing today when it's done. Hey, the reason I'm stopping by, last week we did Peggy's roof. So the reason I'm breaking all this down, and by the way, these two are virtually the same. We have more sales activities we do when the job's done, but paid in full. So that way, every time we're out there, we are leveraging the friendship formula. All right, frequency, proximity, duration, and intensity. We're there a lot. We're close by. We're there very frequently. And then the intensity is the relationships that we develop. And a gentleman that sold for us, his name was Lonnie. By the way, Lonnie, if you're watching, miss you, dude. Love seeing what you're doing with your own business now. It's killing it. So Lonnie and I worked this little neighborhood, and we went in there cold, and we got like nothing, absolutely nothing. And there was no competition there. It was like this fringe area with an old storm date, and then there was like a new storm that kind of hit, and we knew if we could find something, we'd crack it open. We got nothing. Rejected. And then fast forward, and in 6 weeks, we did like 60 homes. And most of that was Lonnie. I was managing at the time and helping out. And Lonnie kept hearing no. Then he'd get a roof done. Then he'd get roof and siding done. And then he'd go back to those houses where they said no. And all these no's, even 3, up to 4, up to even 5 no's, he'd flip into yes. I wish I still had that picture, but I vividly remember it was like a 4-block perimeter. You'd be staring down the street, yard sign. We just crushed it. And it was because of leveraging these touch points and leveraging the principle of the friendship formula. So your mission, let's break this up. Sales rep, owner, manager. Sales rep, your mission is is to not go one and done. Try to transition from cold door knocking as fast as you can to what we call warm door knocking. Owners, managers, your job is to understand that it's your responsibility to give your team this path to, one, rewiring their own internal dialogue, two, helping increase retention, and three, helping them feel confident with their work, because we're taking this service-driven approach. And then now, all in, by the way, I'm just curious what you guys would guess, but how many sales touch points do you think exist through this? It's 25. So in our program, we have each customer has an amazing experience. It's part of our mission. But each one of those touch points, there's 25 sales opportunities for you to take advantage of from each one. This is how those folks on the channel have dominated the neighborhood. So your key takeaway is to transition from cold door knocking to warm door knocking, to have strong daily habits, and to put the friendship formula to work for you. Now, if you're interested in the program or you want to chat more, you can call or text 303-222-7133. The program is called the Roofing Sales Success Formula, and there's a link in the description as well. We have packages available for individual reps or entire teams, and those packages for the teams include a whole bunch like our recruiting training, our sales leadership training, our role play training, and a management rollout guide to help you implement everything you learn following best practices of what we learned from thousands of users across the US, along with how to hold your team accountable, how to easily integrate it, and a whole bunch more. So thanks for joining me in today's video. If you want more, just because our time here is about to wrap up, doesn't mean your and my time has to. Jump into this playlist to ace your pitch at the door, more on canvassing here, or if you haven't yet done it, click here to download a free copy of my Pitch Like a Pro roofing sales training video library. And as always, if you have any questions about products or programs, we'd be happy to help. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one.